All right, what's going on? What's going on? Not sure what's going on with my, but I don't need this anyway. My, that is not how that's supposed to look. So we can just go, not that one. Give me this one. All right. All right. So I was actually, today I'm supposed to really be doing the regular stream, but I sort of had a little bit change of focus today. I wanted to so I had an evaluation account that I was using to just expand on my strategy, and I had a rough day Wednesday, trying to just not trading at my best, and then really trying to put the risk. I put a lot of risk on the table, and it just so happens that I did that, and then I didn't have my best trading day. In terms of my execution, I had one of the worst trading days that I've had in a long time. But so I ended up kind of digging a hole in this evaluation account, and it's coming to the time where where it's going to renew over the weekend. I don't really want to renew it. I'm actually going to go a different direction. But since I had this last day, I wanted to just kind of almost go all in. So it's just to see if I could hit it. And let's just say the target was huge, and the market actually gave the opportunity, I think, for me to hit that target. It's just that it was just hard for me to actually catch an execution or to actually get initiated into a trade, into a new position at certain points. So with all that being said, I kind of, I got about halfway there, a little over halfway there, and I just don't have the time to keep trading today. So I just got to call it. And it's perfectly cool. I just, it's just one of those. It was kind of like a fun day, just to see, what I could do, just where I am now, and how much I needed to make and all that stuff. So I still do. If I had more time, I would still be trading today for sure, because I'm in the driver's seat for sure. And so where I made it to this point is a little shot of where I'm at now. So today I made $2,332, of course minus commissions. This doesn't account for commissions, but interesting day. It was an interesting day for a Friday. So if we go back and look at it, we had a overnight. Now, so when I got my numbers last night, I wasn't expecting the sell-off that we got. So sometime during the London session, just things really started to dive deep into our bear zone. We landed on the moon. If I can stop right clicking for no reason. We landed on the moon around 4:12, still during the London hours. That's when we started to bounce around on the moon. We kind of went into deep space in our, New York Stock Exchange pre-market hours, and kind of just found a range there. Gave us a little bit of a pullback, almost like a reload for the next phase of sell-off. And I participated in this. Was attempting to participate in that, but I couldn't get anything triggered just by the way it was selling off. And then this is where I made a lot of my progress here. So I made just around 1,000 in this area here, and then I just ended up in Scap City in this area there. So overall, not a terrible day. If this was a regular trading account, it would be awesome. And let me make sure everything is coming through, because I could be talking to myself right now. I only got OBS up. I'm not actually looking at. Okay, cool. Let me do a mic check. Kind of a good time to wait for a mic check, right? All right, yeah. So everything sounds good. So yeah, it's just a little quick recap. I'm gonna keep letting it play for a while, and I'm still watching, of course. I mean, at this point, like I just had the idea to switch to sim and just because I got a little bit of time, but I don't have a lot of time. So I did, and I think it's gonna take several more minutes for me to make the rest of what I need to make in order to pass that evaluation. So this evaluation is going to expire today. Actually, tomorrow's the last day officially, but there's no trading tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow is Saturday, so technically it expires today. And then I'm going to go in a different direction with it. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I passed another eval like a couple weeks ago. So the goal is to have like several of them, and then build off those different evaluation accounts. And this is with Leeloo, the one that I'm using now, the one that I have the performance accounts in right now. Is Leeloo. So I want to have several of these evaluation accounts or performance accounts, build off of those, and with the goal of pretty much mirroring what I do now with personal accounts, if you will. So that's the overall goal that I'm trying to do right now. And so I was using this one. The target on this one, I forgot the name of this one, but this is the 150 account. So it's just like there's a risk to reward balance that I'm trying to have, and to make that 9,000 in the time period that I'm trading, because the 9,000 profit target, I just don't feel like that's not the way I would have to trade outside the way that I'm trying to trade, and that's just size wise. I'm speaking of size, or it's just gonna take longer than I want to, just because I'm only trading 30 minutes to an hour a day. So I just felt the need to go ahead and make that clear. I'm still watching it. I think we got a little supply area here, and I actually may trade it. So at this point, I really don't care but so here's the thing. I'm using kind of an all or nothing method to trade today, but I definitely would not recommend doing that. I just want to make that clear also. I would not recommend ever, even if you're sim trading or you're trading in an environment to what I'm doing, like I'm trying to do today, where you got like just let the 1 day left before your evaluation expires. I would highly discourage just doing the all or nothing method, just because of the mental aspect behind it. Until you get when you're seasoned, and then you can I still wouldn't do it. Like I wouldn't do this today if I wasn't in a situation to where I'm actually I just kind of made a fun challenge for myself, basically. All right, so we are raising inventory a bit there. And so like in this, like the last few trades, maybe like 3 to 4 trades, I got caught into some nickel and diamond where I didn't really get much of anything. I have to respond where I have to respond. I should have actually responded there, just because of the way they're moving price. Now I can hold it, and I have a method for both directions, but the way that I'm supposed to trade this strategy, and see, this is the dangers of having that all or nothing mentality, even if it makes sense in terms of a profit target or anything like that. And it's another reason why I don't like profit targets, why I just like to focus on execution of the strategy. And it's also hard to talk, and narrate and trade at the same time. So I'm going to focus for a minute. So we got this little micro wholesale range here where we're marking up price. But we do have a supply area right above 292. Inventory range, I would say, just eyeballing it, 288 to 2, let's just call that 282. A nice one-click spread. And these are, so I'm not even gonna, so if you're curious, if I mention if I use a certain term and you're not sure what it means, just go ahead and put it in the chat or ask me in the comment section if you're watching this after the fact, and I will explain it. See, so that's the move that I really was looking for. The way that my strategy is set up, I had to trade it the way that I traded it. And plus today, at this point, I'm not looking to hit the target at all. So right now I'm kind of using this opportunity to just get some practice time in. On that note, I want to go ahead and take this opportunity to explain the importance of practicing and getting your skills right. Like I look at this as a sport, and I'm gonna let's hold that thought. Actually, I should have explained that versus trying to take this trade, because this one's probably gonna go against me. We'll see. But like I said, right now I'm using this time to work on, just to get some, this is an experience type of thing. Let's see. I'm gonna make my 2 clicks right up there at 310-ish, or 312. Continuing to mark up price. So we had this could be a slingshot. We had an expansion of the inventory zone, which quickly brought us back to supply and the break of supply. Higher prices would definitely make sense at this point. We had a lot of selling off, so we could, and I would expect to see either a range or some retracement for the rest of the session today, even though more sell-off is possible. Kind of hate to do that right there, but I gotta execute what I'm supposed to execute. This will be the first time I've had to take these rotations. For the day, which is kind of interesting. So back to a supply area where we are seeing a response. So that was the previous supply area around 308. Does that response make sense? Wouldn't be surprised to see a dip back inside of this range there. attempting to break, but we're failing every time. 4 right now. Pushing strong. Oh, it was a quick jump back to that supply zone, that supply area. Bit of a volume gap right there at 308. Push into that volume gap. And responds at the volume gap, or the previous volume gap. So that ended up pretty much being a break even. I had to respond off of that as a price action response. All right, so we're at this point of a potential pivot. Previous supply returned as supply once again around 308. Watching to see what kind of movement we get from here. And I may be done executing, just, sticking to a little bit of narration. I think that hold on. I need to get a COB screenshot, so let me take this opportunity to do that also. Don't mind my back office stuff. Screenshot for the journal. So we did get a nice push off of that supply. So we'll, that's a area to be aware of from, moving forward. Still would not be surprised by higher prices. Now we got a short-term inventory range around 296. Here we're attempting to break that supply area. I think this is a key. This is a key location here to see if we get some real retracement, or if we take this, if this is the overall supply area. Another way to explain that is a key rotation area. Seems like I was explaining something. What was I explaining? I don't forgot what it is now. So if I was started explaining something and I didn't finish that, and you wanted to know what I had to say, I apologize for that, because I got interrupted by a trade. But I am feeling the frequency of me stopping mid-sentence in something that I was explaining. Back down to that short-term inventory, pushing price lower. Oh yeah, painting the picture as if we're trying to push the price lower. Let's see if we get a break. We're stalling here, so we, all right, there's the push. A little bit of a tug of war there in that area. Now our main inventory is at 280, but we got volume tapering off there at 284, which is where I would start looking for a response. Looking at this as still as a range of 288 to 284. Now this push lower did give more strength to that 308 rotation. If price does make it back there. Mechanical response at 284. Anyone who is looking to replay that 280 level is feeling like they got front ran, back down to it, slightly below 284. Now we're hitting 280. Encourage anyone that want to go long in there to really hit it. Let's see how aggressive our shorts are going to be, or the push lower is going to be. Made a new inventory low there. I think that's a session low also. Yes, it is. I'm gonna watch a couple more minutes, then I got to continue on with my day. Really want to see where we go from here. Just understanding that the sentiment, the feeling around that 280 area. This is why we're saying, could be why, could be, not this is. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know exactly what's going on. And there's a couple narratives that could be playing out here, but one narrative is whoever, a big participant sitting right there at 280 plus retail, who felt front ran, and then they finally got their price, so they're really going to hit it hard. And so we're starting to see some buying off of that sentiment, but we know that we do have some sell interest between 284 and roughly 290. So at this point, I will be watching to see if we make it back to 290, and if we do, or 288 to 290, just to throw some numbers out there. And if we do, we'll see what kind of response we get. I think I like discounting our inventory prices, so when we start making those lower lows. So right there, once we dip below 280 and found somewhat of a floor, a pivot at 272-ish, we discounted our inventory prices. Try to hold down that frequency right there. So we're kind of we're in the middle of this range, which is, from my perspective, I'm not trying to, again, I'm not saying what our price movers are doing right now. This is just my perspective as a retail trader. Kind of in the middle of nothing. In the middle of this range, just to see where we're going to go from here. I can see the sentiment of looking for another short, especially at that break. Retail traders love breakouts. And our major participants know that. So in one way or another, they will take advantage of it. Back down to that pivot of 272. Painting the picture of a push below. We're stalling here, so let's see if we get the trap or the push. the way that price is stalling here, either one could happen. We could be a pause here to get the flash lower, or this could be, you know, a bounce off the floor. If I was buying there, I would be looking at a target of 284 for a quick target, or a long target of 292-ish. Picture was painted as a trap. Back into that inventory. Let's grab more inventory at lower prices. The way that printed, this should, one would expect it to continue printing lower. It did so, but not with a lot of energy. So we have seen this sort of price action before at that sell-off where I couldn't catch a trade. So let's see if we continue that pattern, or are they going to use that to manipulate price? I want to make sure I say it accurately. Slowly grinding lower, dropping that inventory price. Also keeping in mind that this is the volume, well, like one of the strongest volume days of the week, is still overall, you know, relatively light compared to what we've seen all summer. So, I mean, what we've seen all year. So this is like a end of summer, slow summer day. That came out crazy, but I think you get what I mean. But so when you have that low participation like that, you can't just move price quickly, you know, a bunch of points. You gotta strategically get your inventory and then move price based off, you know, how much inventory you can get. And I'm talking about like from the market maker's perspective. So, you know, this is, you know, kind of why we're not seeing any like really big moves. When price moves, it moves slowly, and it doesn't go far at one time until, you know, you just exhaust that area. And now we got to look for, okay, where is the participation to where we can build our inventory or dump supply. And that's when you get that flash of price movement. So I'm still seeing this as a, you know, where it's just slowly discounting inventory price. At some point, they're going to take it back up and sell it to the market as supply. That's how I'm reading it. I don't have to be right. Just want to keep making sure I put those kind of disclaimers out. I can definitely be wrong, but that's the way that I'm reading it. And on that note, well, you know, I'll look back at this later today and see what they actually decided to do. Like I said, higher prices wouldn't surprise me. Also, you know, just ranging out the rest of the day, that wouldn't surprise me either. Keeping in mind that, you know, we can continue selling off. That's definitely possible. So, with all that being said, everybody that tapped in, I appreciate you for tapping in. Hope everybody have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Trade it easy.